Good evening, ladies and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Housing. This is Podcast for Liberty. We've had a heck of a week, a heck of a couple of weeks. As usual, Facebook and YouTube are both giving me fits. I believe Twitter's taking over Periscope. I'm streaming on all three. I'm endeavoring to find more outlets for my podcast. And I hope to have a couple of them soon. Hopefully, I can get Roku working. Started the procedures to get uh, on Roku. I've got the channel created. Now I just got to figure out how to make it work. I'm working with the Roku team, trying to integrate my podcast into my Roku channel. And so that's coming soon. I don't have a timetable for it yet, but it's coming soon. Uh, Also, I've decided to go ahead and start the process of getting a channel on Gab, namely Gab TV. That's gab.com. They've been, they're part of the solution. They've already been foisted upon and grounded by YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, among others. Amazon, they were on Amazon's server. They were deplatformed, just like uh, um, oh man, why can't just like Parler was, and they've come out of the ashes just like Parler has, and Parler is back. Praise God. Now I've not been spending as much time as I'd like. I've been quite busy these last few weeks, and Uncle Joe's been keeping me very busy with his what he wants to do and where he wants to take this country. I can't stand it. I cannot be still. I cannot be silent. I'm doing everything I can to fight him every step of the way, fight his agenda. I'm not fighting him because I don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of darkness. That's what I fight against. I'm not fighting against Joe Biden. I'm fighting against his agenda. Let's take it one step at a time. Joe Biden wants to loosen up the election process in order that the fraud may continue. Now, I don't want to hear about alleged fraud or fraud doesn't exist or anything like that. There are court cases coming through that is proving the fraud exists. So the facts are out there. You go ahead and get on Google or actually let me recommend Bing to you. I've been having really good luck with Bing, and I've been getting a lot of um, results from Bing that I'm not getting from Google. So I know Google's suppressing a whole bunch of people. However, I got some good news. I ran mine. I ran the Society for Liberty and Prosperity with Google, and I ran it several ways, and it's showing up for now. So thank you, Google, for what you're doing for me. I hope it continues, but I don't think it will. Sooner or later, they're going to shut that down again. I'm going to piss them off. They're going to shut me down again. YouTube is going to keep dinging me because I'm not going with the narrative that they want. And Facebook, same thing. I'm not going with their narrative. I'm going to give you the facts the way I see them. Not only the way I see them, but the way that they are. I'm in reality, Google and Facebook are in some kind of fantasy land where everything's real that they want to be real and nothing is real if they don't want it to be. Inconvenient facts are ignored by Google, Facebook, and YouTube. and others. So I'm in the process of creating a channel on Gab.com. So I'm going to be going there very soon. I'll start broadcasting. I'll let y'all know when I get that complete. You know, and if I don't survive that long, well, you know, to start looking over there for Podcasts for Liberty. Now, what we're going to do is April 15th is just days away. Have you filed your taxes yet? Have you noticed that your taxes have gone up or gone down or remained the same? Joe Biden's proposing quite a few tax increases, and already now I've already filed my taxes back a couple months ago, so I got my refund, and that's fine. So I don't have to worry about it till next year. And I suspect many of you are in the same boat because Mr. Biden really hasn't done anything about last year's taxes. So where we're going to be taking a hit is going to be in next year's taxes. And I would say that most of us will probably be paying a little bit more in taxes. Don't know how much or anything like that, but uh, I know he's going to raise them. Don't know how much yet or anything. And the Society for Liberty Prosperity stands opposed to any increases in taxes and also stands opposed to any new taxes being imposed. But that being as it is, there are bigger fish to fry. I consider the election law, what we're doing with the election law, to be a paramount issue. And I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is Kentucky has passed election law reform. The bad news is I just now got the bill that they passed, and I still need to go over it to see how much of our agenda has gone through and how much of their agenda is being foisted upon us. Now, I am optimistic because during the 2020 election, Kentucky did have one of the best elections, most secure, most transparent of all of them. Kentucky was one of the first states, if not the first state, to report to the Electoral College. That is something I'm proud of. We had all our votes counted and in an election night. And that's the way it's supposed to be in all 50 states. Before we go to bed, we're supposed to know who the president is, not sit there and believe, well, President Trump's going to walk away with this, and then in the morning when we get up, what? They're still not done counting? Oh, no, because they got to count the fraudulent votes, too. Okay, yeah. Uh, we went through the whole process. Okay, it's a foregone conclusion. Joe Biden's president. I'm not challenging that. We've gone through the whole process. I don't need to rehash that. You know, Joe Biden's president basically because of the inaction of some and the actions of others. It is what it is. And like I said, the courts are winding through, cases are winding through the courts, and one after another, they are finding basis of fact that voter fraud existed. Wonder, wonders never cease. It is just an example that given time, the truth will always come out and justice shall prevail. And I'm happy for that. So now that, except for the research that I need to do to see where we're at in the election, and I'll report as soon as I get the study done and I have a report ready. I'll be happy to give y'all a report on where we stand in the election, whether we've done well or whether we're still lacking. And if we're still lacking, rest assured, the Society for Liberty and Prosperity is now partnered up with True the Vote. So we have the capability of impacting uh, the election law, and we still got plenty of time. There's no election in Kentucky until next year, but still, there's no time to waste. Um, there's no time to waste with any of this. Joe Biden continues to spend us into oblivion. No matter how much he gets, it's not going to be enough. Deficit spending is alive and well, my friend. You thought we were deficit spending before. You just wait. Our national debt, I've heard described as officially being $30 trillion, but unofficial tallies may have it as high as $500 trillion. You know, I have seen $300 trillion unofficially, but and I'm kind of hesitant to report on where I've seen that because I'm not sure I trust that site. But trust comes with being truthful. Trust comes with being truthful, and as I find people are truthful, I begin to trust them. And if I find that they are trustworthy, I will be sure to let you know. As of right now, the Nolan Media Group is a trustworthy source. We're talking about um, the Barberville Advocate, Mountain Advocate, the Corbin Times Tribune, the Williamsburg News Journal. Those are still newspapers that I respect. Yes, they're publishing Mockingbird Media. Okay. They're still publishing Mockingbird Media stories. But the thing is, they're doing the best they can to try to parse the truth. And they're not printing anything that they can't independently verify. Journalistic integrity with those newspapers, with all the Nolan Group newspapers. Yeah, and there's the Clay County Gazette, and there's a bunch of other newspapers that Nolan Group Media controls. And every single one of those papers, I believe them to be truthful and accurate and full of journalistic integrity. You know, not like ABC, CBS, and NBC. They're lost cause. They are touting the lies. You can't believe anything that they say. You know, you want to watch them for fun because you're not going to get much information from them. You're going to get lots of misinformation from them. Google, YouTube, Facebook. Well, you got to judge credibility for yourself. And credibility comes from telling the truth and being able to withstand the scrutiny required in getting the facts. And unfortunately, we, the people, have to fact check our own stuff. Because we can't trust Facebook's fact checkers because they're the ones putting out the lies. Really. That's bad when the fact checkers are the ones touting the lies. No. Anyway, Joe Biden continues with the border, sitting there saying, oh, we'll take care of the kids. Well, Joe Biden, how are you protecting the kids when they're on their way to the United States and they're getting raped, gang raped, sodomized, assaulted, and abused every step of the way? Until they get to the United States, you're powerless to do any of that. Oh, but now he's saying, now's not the time to come. Yeah, after you invite them. Now's not the time to come. And the thing is these people, somebody told them, hey, send the kids first, and then you'll be able to join them later, because once the kids get in, we'll make sure you get in. Yeah, so how many kids are sending their kids all by them? How many parents are sending their kids all by themselves? You know, are they even thinking about the danger, or are they just thinking about themselves and trying to get a better life for themselves? Are they using the kids? Are they culpable? Yeah, well, I'll grant it. The parents are responsible for the children, yes. And they're responsible for putting the children in a dangerous situation, yes. But the thing is, Joe Biden's got to admit his responsibility too, because he invited them to come in the first place by sitting there saying, I'm not going to enforce the law at the border. Everybody come, overtake our country, invade our country. I don't care, and I'm not going to do anything about it. Joe Biden in his budget proposal has cut the budget for Homeland Security, the military, and everything to do with the protection of the United States by about 20% or better. Donald Trump arranged for a $1.5 trillion budget for our military. Joe Biden's got that down to less than $1.2 trillion. And I hear he wants to cut it even further. Yeah, these are staggering numbers, and our deficit is soaring. There's no real way that we can pay it out. And the thing is, Joe Biden wants to make an 8-year investment and take 15 years to pay for it. Well, how are you going to pay? How are you going to pay eight years of money? Okay, you're going to borrow it. You're going to take 15 years to pay it back. But then I don't understand, where is the payoff here? You know, I don't understand where the payoff is. The thing is you need to turn that on the head and take that 8-year payment plan and pay it off in 6 years. That way you got 2 years that you got everything paid for. Makes more sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it, Uncle Joe? Yeah, Uncle Joe. Well, he says he's going to take care of us. He's selling us a bill of goods down the road. Now he wants to take away our guns. Oh, he's willing to pay us for them. Black funds. Apply for this money, and I'll give you a pile of money. All you have to do is give up your guns and your freedom. I'm serious on this. I'm so serious as a heart attack. This is the kind of stuff that we're fighting against. Now, excuse me for smoking, and I know it's not politically correct, and uh, I'll die someday of cancer. Well, I don't have cancer yet. My grandmother died of a heart attack. She never got cancer. She smoked for 50 years. She started when she was 8 years old. I started when I was 10. At least I waited 2 years. My grandmother never had a sign of cancer. Didn't have the first sign of cancer. And when she died, they even did an autopsy. You know, I turned around. And I told them that she smoked 50 years. I couldn't find a trace of cancer in her body. Maybe I'll take after her. But even if not, hey, it's my choice. Give me the right to choose. Don't be a Nazi and take it away from me. Joe Biden wants to take our liberties away. He wants us to live where he says to live. He wants us to work where he says to work. He wants us to do what he says as far as jumping. We're to say how high, and we're supposed to like it. Not this one. He's going to deprive us of our constitutional rights. And if we let him, he will deprive us of of the very Constitution itself that we hold dear. The thing that codifies our God-given rights. He will take away our unalienable rights. He'll just legislate them right out of existence. And if he gets the guns, we're powerless to stop him. If Joe Biden is successful with doing his gun grab, I don't believe there's any hope left for this nation. And I'm sure all the patriots will hold fast to their guns and tell Joe Biden exactly where to get off with it. Perhaps a few of them might offer him some bullets. Yeah, come get my gun. Okay, well, put it up under your head. You want some bullets? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, they'll be happy to give you the bullets. President Biden, don't try to grab the guns. That's all you're gonna do is utterly fail. Like I said, I'm fighting the good fight of faith. Is Joe Biden evil? No, Joe Biden's only a man. But I believe he is a malevolent man. I believe him to be a racist. And I believe him to be an elitist. Now, evidence, you say? Here's my evidence that he's a racist. He is preoccupied 100% over who is who in race. He cites black people, white people, Hispanics. When he's talking about a program, he doesn't just stop at, well, this many people benefited from this program. No, he's got to run down the list. Well, there's this many white people, this many black people, that's what a racist does. A racist looks at the color of the skin, not the content of the character. I look at the content of the character. Are you a good man or black? Are you a good man or a bad man? I don't care if you're black, white, or purple with blue polka dots. I prefer you to be blue, purple polka dots. Maybe, maybe that makes me a racist for that. Oh, they don't exist? What evidence do you have that they don't exist? How can you prove the negative? That's the question of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell my dander's up a little bit, but I am doing the best I can to maintain, and I think I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're entertained by my passion, because my passion and yours may be all we have left. The fight is good fight of faith, but we must pace ourselves. We must run this race and fight this fight with patience and understanding. We need to understand the enemy. And don't get me wrong, Joe Biden's not our enemy, Nancy Pelosi's not our enemy. They're misguided individuals. They may or may not be controlled by other people. And like I said, Joe Biden, I find him to be a racist. I just explained why. I also find him to be an elitist because he believes he is above the law. And so far, his experience is proving him right. I hear Hunter Biden is still under investigation by the FBI, and he just about admitted to everything in his new book. I haven't read the book, but what I've heard is that he's just about admitted to everything in it. Ladies and gentlemen, I fear for this country's future. I don't think Joe Biden's going to be successful in his gun grab. I really don't. But that doesn't mean we don't fight against it. Collectively, we must all rail against it. So let me encourage all of you to go to http www.societylp.8m.net. Check out the Society for Liberty and Prosperity. If you agree with us that limited government is the answer, and we are on the wrong road right now, we have a meeting place. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you stand for. We have a meeting place. We will go from there. We will learn about each other, who we are, who we stand, what we stand for. Just as long as you understand what the society stands for. And it's all there on the website. Take your time, go over it. The thing is I've had a couple of people turn around and say, well, there are things on there that I disagree with. And the question that I pose to them, and I will pose it to you, is if you find something that you disagree with, is it more important than your liberty to disagree with it? Because the thing is, I'm always open to change and correction. Everything that we've done in the past, everything we're about to do in the future, everything we're doing right now, it's all there. Now, I'm slow to update it, yes, but I do have a blog on there, and Podcast for Liberty is there too. And you can, as long as we're on YouTube, and hopefully if Gab is what I hope it will be, which is live streaming over there as well. Then I will let the Gab take over the podcast. You can watch it live. Now, if something happens at YouTube, well, I'm still on Rumble. However, that's not a live broadcast, and it takes time to do that up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to excuse myself one moment, and I shall be back as soon as I can. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to have to do a pre-recorded commercial for the Society for Liberty and Prosperity so that I can play that should the need arise. I thank you for your understanding. Where were we at? Joe Biden's gun grab. I'm sure it'll fail. Oh, he'll get a lot of guns. But the thing is here's what I recommended Joe Biden do. Instead of doing a gun grab, you want to do something to discourage these mass shootings. And the thing is, let me touch on this a little bit, because I've given this some thought. It is awful funny that all through the Obama term we had this epidemic of mass shootings, schools, stores, playgrounds. During the Biden administration, they're all over the place. Sometimes the perpetrator gets killed, sometimes the perpetrator gets arrested. When the perpetrator gets arrested, then he stands trial. Okay. Then when President Trump got elected, he turned around and encouraged the states to drop gun-free zones, at least temporarily. Some states did, other states didn't. Mr. Trump did solicit cooperation. He didn't force them to. He just simply asked them to, and some states did. We didn't hear very much about mass shootings during the Trump administration, now did we? Now, as we're in 2020, Joe Biden's elected, we have another Democrat in the White House, and again, it seems we have an epidemic of mass shootings. That's a very interesting statistic. Let me ask you this. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? You seeing the same pattern that I'm seeing? I'm going on memory. I remember it was like one a week, one a month, all through the Obama administration. Yeah. Every time you turn around, there's another mass shooting. And already, how many mass shootings have there been since Joe Biden took office? And before he took office, all through the Trump administration, how many mass shootings were there? I can't say I remember any. At least none that were reported, huh? I'm sensing a pattern. Yeah, I'm sensing a pattern that the Democrats don't seek our protection or our wellness. They don't care about us. They care about themselves. They care about their power and how much power can they yield against us. We, the little people, the deplorables. Isn't that what Hillary Clinton called us, the deplorables? What about Nancy Pelosi, the unwashed masses? Well, excuse me, the unwashed masses, you're talking about the patriots. And I don't know about the rest of them, but I take a bath every day. So I'm hardly unwashed. I wash my hands all the time. Sometimes I actually wash my face. Like I said, I take at least one bath every day. Sometimes I take two or three. I feel dirty. I get in there and clean up. Everybody I know does the same thing. So, yeah, some of us may be boorish. Some of us may not show respect in the same way as others. Some of us, many of us, wouldn't know what to do in high society. Now, I'm blessed with the knowledge of what to do in high society, and I'm mingled in high society. But the thing is I don't want to be there. Those people in high society are so damn fake. I don't want to associate with those people. I want honest people. I want honest people around me. I don't want somebody that's just going to tell me a story and sit there and try to convince me that it's the truth when I know it isn't. I want honest people around me. People that tell me the way it is, not the way they want it to be. Joe Biden wants everybody to be at his beck and call, and he is an elitist. He wants to make laws that pertain to us, but he doesn't have to live under those laws. He can live under his own liberty. I got news for you, Joe Biden. The rights enumerated in the Constitution are God given. You can't take them away. You can suppress them, you can make them illegal, but you can't take them away. We'll still have it in our heart. We will still have it in our heart. And as long as we live, we will fight. We will fight the forces of evil, fight the forces of darkness. We are entering a dark time indeed. And Joe Biden doesn't want to serve us. He wants to serve us up. Who does he want to serve us up to? Well, first one comes to mind for me. He wants to serve us up to the Chinese. Look at everything he's doing over there. I believe that we've gone back to having China be the most favored nation trader, or most favored trading nation, or whatever that status was back in Obama's days, that Trump got rid of when Trump negotiated the trade deal with China. It wasn't easy, but Mr. Trump got it done. Now Joe Biden wants to resurrect all Obama's treaties, set them back into play. I don't know if he's done it yet or not. But the thing is, Joe Biden's looking to enslave the American people so that the government has to tell the citizen how to live, where they can work, where they can live, what kind of car can they drive, how much food to eat. Oh, wait a minute, you're fat, so you don't get any sugar. You can't buy sugar or pop. Oh, you're fat. You can't get ice cream. No, you're too fat. You can't have that hamburger. Here's some rabbit food. Eat all you want of that till you're sick of it. Or maybe we get our nutrition out of a can for the rest of our lives. And then what about the people that have a thyroid disorder? You know, the thyroid manages weight. And when that goes on the brain, people blow up like balloons. What about people with high blood pressure? What are you going to do when you deny them their medicine? Oh, I forget. The thing is, what we're going to do is we're going to adapt the way China does it. And we're going to take the FICA score, and then we're going to add some numbers and create a formula. How well do they play ball with the government? And we're going to add that all together, just like they do in China. And then the higher your score, the more benefits you get. The lower the score, the less benefits you get. Well, let me tell you something. Right now, I believe my FICO score is probably about 550, 575, somewhere around there. Last time I checked. I don't care about my credit score. I don't go out and get credit a lot. I think right now I have one loan out that I took out some time ago, and I'm like 3 payments away from paying it off. I'm trying to get disengaged from credit, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it because I'm about to get out of the hole. They tell me once I do that, I'll have more money than I realize. I'll have some money to do things with. I don't know. I'm so used to living under a budget now, I don't think I'll stop. Because life is so much easier when you got control over what you got. If you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, you might want to check him out. He's got Financial Peace University. I've taken his precepts and listened to his radio show, and I've applied his precepts. And yes, I'm convinced when you take credit and you borrow money, you become slave to the lender because the thing is, they expect to be paid before you even eat. They expect to be the first in line to get their money when you borrow money from somebody. So stop borrowing money from people and banks and everything else. Instead, put your money in the bank. Right now, it's not going to matter much if you have in the bank or in a mattress. If you don't trust the bank stuff, your mattress is full of money. The time's going to come, and it'll come soon, where you're going to need a wheelbarrow full of money. They talked about this before the Great Depression, too. The day's going to come where it's going to take a wheelbarrow full of money just to buy a loaf of bread. And with Joe Biden in office, that loaf might be priced out of existence too. So it might be we'll have to buy a slice at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, I fear. I fear for the nation. I fear for the state of Kentucky. I fear for the people. I'm doing the work that God is requiring me to do. If you believe that God is tugging at your heart and prodding you to get into this fight, the fight for your liberty and the fight for your freedom, if you love your freedom and cherish it, we're not even talking about the status quo. Status quo is gone. What we have right now is Joe Biden's reality. The liberal reality. They want nirvana. They want paradise. But the thing is what they seek is unattainable because they seek perfection. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, to ensure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense, to promote the general welfare, to reap the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do hear and ordain this Constitution of the United States. Those are high sounding words, and they are just as true words today as they were 300 years ago. They're even more timely during this time. I take great solace and take great comfort in God the Creator. Truly, the Creator has given us our unalienable rights. It is up to us to maintain them and to protect them. Let me prod you a little bit and urge you, please, join the Society for Liberty and Prosperity. Once you let us know your desire to join, I'll send an application and some paperwork to you. You go over it, you fill out the application, you get it back to me. Once we get you sworn in as a member, you'll be able to attend our meetings. You'll be a part of the society. You'll be considered one of America's patriots. If you like the sound of that, join. We'd love to have you. At this point, we're meeting virtually. But on Memorial Day, May 31st, 2021, we are going to be having a community picnic at City Park in Barberville. If you're anywhere near Barberville, Kentucky, let me urge you to take a drive on May 31st and go meet us at the City Park, which is on Allison Street in Barberville, Kentucky. I'm sure it'll be a good time. Now, at this point, I am trying to get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce to see what are all the arrangements. So some of the timetable is up in the air. But I believe I'm going to be setting up early in the morning. And then we're going to probably start cooking and have the hot dogs and hamburgers ready about 12 o'clock. And right now I'm envisioning speaking between 3 and 5:30. And then afterwards, just, the crowd will just peter out at the dinner hour, when they get their fill of hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm sure it'll be a wonderful time. It'll be a time to get out and cut loose. Maybe get away from the humdrum of basic living. And maybe we'll be able to take the day to strive, to relax, to enjoy ourselves. Now, right now, everything's in the planning stages, so I have my vision, but I envision it'll be a wonderful time. I'm inviting veterans to speak for the military, police to speak for the police, law enforcement, security guards. I'll speak on behalf of the society. And there may be other dignitaries present that either desire or been asked to speak. As I say, we're still in the planning stages, so I'll keep you informed. Just want to give you a heads up that we're doing this. We have the venue confirmed. There's no reservation needed because the shelter we are using, they don't reserve it. It is first come, first serve. So I'm going to make sure I get up there early and start setting up. I'll just take my time. I'd probably be set up in less than an hour, but maybe if I take my time, it could take 2 or 3 hours. I'm not going to be in any hurry. The people running the grill that they're bringing up, I'm telling them that I want to start serving lunch at 12 o'clock. So they'll be up a little early. Not as early as I will, but they'll be up there in time to cook the hot dogs and hamburgers. And there'll be plenty to eat, I'm sure. I'm talking to the local merchants to see if we can wrangle up some donations. And I'm hoping that this is going to be probably our first fundraiser activity. And if it is half the success I imagine it'll be, we'll probably do it every year. Yeah, maybe become a beloved part of Memorial Day celebration. And if it goes well, perhaps we'll do it again on Independence Day. I would like that. And then as our membership grows, we could probably have it in more locations. You know, as we grow the membership to Williamsburg, Corbin, maybe Manchester, we might be able to sponsor community picnics there as well. But right now, we're just planning on our Memorial Day picnic, May 31st, at the Barberville, Kentucky City Park. If you're anywhere near, whatever you consider near to be, consider making the trip. May 31st. That's on a Monday. That's a holiday weekend. That is Memorial Day. I'll be happy to see you there. Again, I'm sorry for the smoking, but my nerves have got the better of me. I've had a lot going on today. I need to take a break, and I'm going to take a break when I get done with this. The idea is to run the race, to fight the fight with patience, to understand what it is you're doing and what you want to accomplish, to pace yourself and allow yourself to do the incredible and allow yourself the luxury to fail, but you pray for success and you work towards success. Success is making progress, not perfection, progress. Perfection will take care of itself. Perfection is God's. As long as we're making progress. And we've made progress in race relations all the way up until Joe Biden got elected. Joe Biden is the one throwing us back into the Jim Crow era. Only one big difference. Jim Crow era was against the blacks. Joe Biden wants to be against the whites. I don't know why he hates himself so much. I really don't. But he wants to live this comfortable life and make the rest of us pay for it. That sounds right to you. It doesn't sound too right to me. I'd much rather be able to do for myself, to earn my own living, to earn my own way. without government interference. To raise to raise my family as I see fit. To be all I can be. And to be safe and secure in my home. And if I decide to use a firearm to do that, I should be afforded that right. It is guaranteed under the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And right here, right now, as far as I know, the Commonwealth of Kentucky is a constitutional carry state. No permits are required. And I hope it continues. If I hear about any threats to that, you sure can make a bet that I'll be there, leading the fight to keep the status quo, to keep the right to bear arms. And I see we're about out of time. Again, let me urge you, join the Society for Liberty and Prosperity. And if you can't bring yourself to join, don't have time, don't have the will, don't want to be involved, that's okay. You can support us by donating as well. There are donation links on the website. Please be generous when you give. The Society for Liberty and Prosperity is a 501c3 charity for the IRS, fully tax deductible. And ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of each other. Let's look out for each other. Let the fight of the forces of evil be one. And let us not falter in our faith. Let us not grow weary and faint in the sight of our enemies. Until next week, Lord willing, will be on Facebook and YouTube. But perhaps next week we'll also be on Gab, Roku. We'll definitely be on Rumble, and maybe elsewhere. Periscope's being taken, well, Periscope's part of Twitter. So Twitter's taken over Periscope. I'm there too, but I don't know for how long. I'm not of any illusions. It is what it is, and I'll be there as long as I can. Until next week, be well. My name is Daniel Isaac, and this is Podcast for Liberty. Thank you.